Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage President of Agile Enterprises and Managing Director of Agile Cares Foundation, Craig Bradley.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow. As I look in your faces, there's very few of you I do not know. And for that, I'm grateful. And for those of you who have not met me, please, the next couple of days, take the time to come up and introduce yourself to me. I'm so glad you're here today. I'm glad you made the effort to be here today. There are many that could have been here that chose not to for whatever reasons, and that's okay. Those of you who are here are supposed to be here, and I promise you this weekend, for those who want their life to change, this will change your life. And I ask you to do three things. I ask you to look with your eyes, hear with your ears, and feel with your heart. And those of you that will do that, you will understand the true mission of Agile. You will understand that believing really is important. And if you do believe, and if you make action with that, your life will change. And this will be new beginnings for so many of you. There'll be some incredible announcements today. I've never seen the Agile management team work closer together with more passion, more dedication for your success. And as I sit here, you are a wonderful sight. I wish you were here, standing up here in the podium, and could see the energy and the light that is being radiated from this group. You know what you are? You're a gathering of hope givers and candle lighters united in a common cause. At Agile, we thrive on the principle of abundance, knowing that there is enough for all of us here, and for yet the millions of people who have not yet joined us. We have come from all corners of the world, and literally from the four corners of the earth, to be in Salt Lake City this weekend. I know many of you have made sacrifices. I've heard the stories. I know many of you are sharing hotel rooms. I know some of you have found a creative way to put 12 of you in a compact car and head to Salt Lake City. You've made the decision to show up. That is the first decision of leadership. Congratulations for making that right decision. I want you to stand up and give yourself an applause. Everyone here, stand up, please, and applaud and shake the hand of somebody around you and congratulate them for showing up. And I applaud you, I really do. Thank you. Now, occasionally, but not often, I get asked a very, very interesting question. The last time I was asked this question, I was having dinner with a group of team members, and we were overlooking the magnificent Pacific Ocean. And there was a gentleman sitting next to me that was very distinguished. He had a pencil mustache, an immaculate suit, a goatee, and he was 80 years old. He looked like he was 60. And he looked so magnificent that I even forgot the question that he asked me. I was so impressed by his appearance. And after the dinner was over, our meal had finished, and after shaking hands and doing some photographs, this gentleman and I went over to a quiet part of the hotel, and we sat down in a comfortable sofa in the lounge area, and he said, "So," peering in my eyes, "how much money does Agile have?" And he said, "Really, Craig, what is in the vault?" Let me ask you that question. how many of you would like to know how much is in the vault? If you want to know, raise your hand. Okay, most of you I can see want to know the sum total of our assets. Would you like me to swing the vault door open and show it to you? Okay, I could lose my job, but I'll be okay. I know some of you, I'll be fine. Some of you have a spare bedroom. I could come live with you. But I'd like to open the door because I think you ought to know what Agile's greatest treasures really are. You may be just a little bit surprised of what we really do have. Just like money in the bank, our values, Agile's values, are our greatest treasure. They are the ideals, principles, philosophy that Agile puts in the very center of our business. Our mission of bringing health and wellness to the world is also in the vault. Our relationship with each one of you is in the vault. Our commitment to build a business that lasts a lifetime is also in our vault. Our proprietary patent-pending gel suspension technology that Dr. Joel's put there, those formulas are also in our vault. The promise we have made to you today, the promises we will make to you today, those promises are also in that vault. You know what? Our vault is full and overflowing. Now, also, if you look just a little bit closer, you'll see Agile Cares is also in the vault. It contains the thousands of little children throughout the world that have been helped because of you, because of your generosity. And these are among the sweetest and most deserving of all the children on this planet. Now, concerning money, Agile's never been more healthier financially since its inception. We are ready and we are prepared for incredible growth. We know that we will have growth leaving this Agile world, and we're prepared for that. And we have the resources, thanks to Ash Capital, and let's thank Ash Capital, that we need to sustain this growth. And my hope for you today is that you'll leave this event, that you will see Agile with new eyes. That Agile will never be the same for you. I challenge you to change your thinking, and then let your actions follow that change of thinking naturally. Science has given us a name when people change their thinking to a new experience, and that's called a paradigm shift. Now, paradigm shift is a mental map of how we view the world or things in the world. Now, our map may be accurate, or our map could be entirely wrong. For example, let's say I gave each one of you a map of Salt Lake City, or you thought it was a map of Salt Lake City, but actually it was a map of Chicago. And you wanted to get somewhere and you're following this map. It doesn't matter how hard you try or how fast you go, if it's not the right map, you're not going to get there. And your map could be completely wrong, and you could end up in a completely wrong place. And that's, really, well, let me share some paradigm shifts with you. Now, let's say some of you here today have lost parents, or you've lost a loved one. That affects your mental map. Now, many of you had a paradigm shift when you got married. That was a change in your mental map. Many of you had a paradigm shift when you became a mother or father. You didn't realize you signed up for a lifetime commitment, did you? Now, here are some paradigm shifts in history that have affected our lives. Well, for thousands of years, people believed that everything revolved around the earth. and the Earth was the center of the solar system. Copernicus came along and said, no, that's all wrong. Our solar system revolves around the sun. He was persecuted, and people, hated him. They were angry, but yet we have an accurate map today to follow because of him. Now, if we lived in medieval times and we were sick, we would go to a barber with a red and white sign in front of his store. And what the barber would do would cut us and drain some of our blood so we could feel better. Well, in truth, after that, most people didn't feel better because most of them were dead. Now, our whole mental map changed with Louis Pasteur. And others have said, diseases are caused by tiny bacteria that we can barely see with the naked eye. That was another paradigm shift, yeah. As I look at you, what I see today is a gathering of pioneers. Now, pioneer is someone who has a new line of thought and brings forth new ideas. Every country has its pioneers. Doesn't matter what country you're from today, there will be pioneers from your country. And I remember a story about a pioneer company, a wagon train, heading east out to Oregon on the Oregon Trail. And like all pioneers and like you, they were seeking a better life. They were seeking a chance to begin again. They believed, they had hope, and they had dreams. Well, on occasion, just on the Oregon border, the wagon train halted. Winter's breath blew hard across these pioneers, and a mother noticed that her 5-year-old son was missing. He'd been missing. They realized that he'd been gone all day. And everybody spent hours looking for them. They sent some men on a horse to try and find him, but they couldn't find him. And for the safety of the wagon train, they had to move on, or everybody's life would be in jeopardy. The father of the boy came to him and said, I will stay, and I'll go back, and I will look for him, and I'll catch up with you when I find him. His wife gave him a red scarf. And she said, when you find our son and you're walking back, wave the scarf, please, and I will know that you have found him. And for 5 days, every day, she'd get up on the wagon, on the seat, and she'd look, looking for the red scarf. Nothing. The words echoed in her mind, who of you, having lost one sheep, will not leave the 99 and look for that one? Well, for those 5 days, she stood and she looked, hoping to see the red flag waving. There was nothing. Now, both her husband and her son were gone. One evening of the 5th day, she looked for 2 hours in vain, just looking in the horizon, searching, praying, and then she quit. She was filled with despair, sadness. And for some reason, she was prompted to crawl upon a hill and look one more time. The light was dim, sunset was coming, and yet in the far distance, she saw the tiniest, what she thought was just a tiny bit of red. She hardly slept that night. All night, she tossed and turned. In the first light, she got up, sat up on the wagon train. In the distance, she saw 2 people walking towards them, waving a red scarf. She ran to meet them, overwhelmed with gratitude and emotion and love. And with tears, she said, how did you find him? Her husband replied, a nameless woodsman found him and gave him food and held shelter till I came along. This pioneer metaphor is instructive, I think, for all of us. We're like this long wagon train making our way through uncharted ground. We have inseparably linked our arms together. We're moving towards a new world, each of us. Occasionally, some of us wander off. We miss them. We wish they were back with us. Now, here is where the pioneer analogy does not fit. Unlike that mother looking for her son, we must not venture too far from our wagon train and our fellow travelers. Here is the plain truth. One of the most dangerous traps you can fall into is trying too hard to find those who have left us. You will waste your most valuable commodity, which is your time. You cannot resurrect the dead. You cannot make the unwilling willing. Even if it's a family member, you must separate your business time from the time spent with them. You should still love them, but love them in a family way and not a business way. Don't you ever let Agile destroy a relationship. Agile will be important in your life, but it'll never be the most important thing in your life. Now, here will be the ultimate test. Some night you'll be in bed, you'll be sound asleep, the wind will be open and the wind will be blowing, and you will hear something like this in the wind. It sounds like this. Help. Help me. Enroll for me. Build my business for me. I will sit on the side and watch you. And you'll wake up. And you'll go, what was that? And you'll fall asleep again. Now, if your team members or your enrollees have fallen by the wayside, check in with them. Check with them once a week by phone. Make it short. Tell them how busy you are. And you'll be happy to make any effort to match their effort. Often they will call, please do this for me. Make this phone call for me. I'll sit and I'll applaud you. Please, please do it for me. Well, we know the real key to changing your business will be your ability to stay focused and to set clear, measurable, specific goals. Now, for some of you, you're going to have to take baby steps. However, always have a goal in mind. Have a monthly goal, have weekly goals, have daily goals. Write them down, hang them on the wall, put them in the car, put them in the bathroom, put them where you see them every day. Close your eyes. See how you feel. How will you act when you achieve these goals? Visualize them. Make them part of your life. Visualize, dream about them, go over them at nighttime. Now, here's an example of what I mean when I say measurable goals. Now, I need your help with this. Now, if you'll permit me to use my country's history as a reference. In 1958, the United States of America had a goal for the exploration of space. It was set by the United States Space Agency. Now, I know some of you here today are accomplished historians, so I may need some help from you. Again, what was the specific goal for space exploration in 1958? If you think you know, raise your hand. Does anybody know what the goal was? Mr. Gage says to put a man in space. Wrong. Who said that? Kobe Avasar from Israel, South Africa. He says to put a man on the moon. Who agrees with that? Wrong. Anybody else? Well, this could go on. I could have fun with this. But let me put you out of your misery. In Dallas, in 1958, the Americas were alarmed. The Soviets had just launched Sputnik. We were panicked. And so there was a distinguished group of scientists and the head of the space agency that all sitting together. And the head of the agency said, our goal is to achieve maximum capacity in space. And everybody stood up and applauded and said, yes, maximum capacity in space. And on their way home, everyone says, what on earth does that mean, maximum capacity in space? And because of that, no one did anything because no one knew what it was. Then all of a sudden, in 1962, everything changed. Americans elected one of the youngest presidents ever, and he said, we shall send a man to the moon and bring him home safely by the end of the decade. A specific goal that was measurable and had a time frame. And that is exactly what happened. I still remember that night. I was in Georgia. It was 97 degrees and 97% humidity. Let me change the topic for a minute and talk about a word that is the theme for this gathering. It is believe. Let me share a story with you that when I think about believe, I consider this to really have made a difference in my life. And it's a story about a man named Bunker Bean. The Bunker Bean lived in the southern part of the United States, and he had spent years washing dishes at a very busy restaurant. As I think of this, I think of Mr. Randy Gage. However, he knew that he was capable of so much more. And one day at the end of summer, he was kind of cleaning up at the end of the day, and he picked up a piece of paper he found on the floor, which had been left in the restaurant. He read it, and it was advertising a circus that'd be coming to town in 2 weeks. Well, Bunker carefully folded the paper up and put it in his pocket, and he started counting the days till the circus would finally be in town. On that evening, the first day of circus was there, he immediately left work and wandered over to the big tent. And inside the big tent were dozens of small tents, people asking to throw baseballs, throw darts, ride the big Ferris wheel outside. But not Bunker. He had only one goal that night, and that was to visit the lady with the crystal ball. He waited outside of the tent for a while because there was a sign saying occupied. As someone walked out, Bunker walked in. And inside this tent there were candles and incense, and there was a table and 2 chairs. And in the middle of the table was a red velvet scarf covering a ball. The fortune teller, Lady Lysandra, invited him to have a seat. She said, how can I help you? She had on heavy lipstick, rouge, and had rings on all her fingers. Bunker replied, I want to know what I can do to move forward in my life. I'm just a dishwasher. Lady Lysandra took both his hands in hers and looked in his eyes, and she gently closed her eyes. Then she said, I have the answers. I can look in this crystal ball and I can learn about your future. I can tell you what your future will be. She removed the velvet cloth, which seemed to be alive with colors and filled with light. Madame Lysandra closed her eyes while her hands remained on the ball. And then she immediately came out of this trance and said, I have many things to tell you. Bunker was eager for her to begin speaking. She said, Bunker, in a previous life, you were a great warrior. Also, she said, you commanded thousands of troops. You were a mighty general. You were a great statesman. And then she slipped back into this trance and she said, your name was Napoleon. She added, you will not be a dishwasher for long. You will own your own restaurant. You will own many restaurants. You will own many businesses. People will treat you with great respect. because you are Napoleon. Bunker was stunned. He paid her his $1 and walked out slowly towards his house. How could I be Napoleon? He entered his small apartment and quickly went to the bathroom and looked into the mirror. You are Napoleon. No, you are Napoleon. You are Napoleon. Over and over. And then he was filled and found this new self-esteem and confidence. 1 year later, Bunker Bean opened the doors of his first restaurant. Then 2, then 5, and 10. Eventually, he had over 100 restaurants. The name of his restaurants were Bunker Bean's Home-Style Cooking. Bunker Bean spent hours and hours studying the life of Napoleon. He squared his shoulders and assumed the stature of a courageous general. Then one restaurant, as I mentioned, turned into many restaurants. He invested in real estate and became very, very wealthy. People from all over would come to Bunker to have them teach him. Then one day in one of his restaurants, he saw that same flyer he'd seen years before, announcing the coming of the circus. He picked it up and said, I want to go again. Well, early one evening, he left his mighty mansion in his limousine and he made his way to the fortune teller. Someone was just exiting the fortune teller, and he was all happy. He said, and what did the fortune teller tell you? And she said that I was Napoleon. Bunker was so discouraged and so devastated. He went home and spent 3 days and 3 nights in his mansion, did not go out. Finally, he opened the doors and he went for a walk. Of course, he knew he'd been taken, yet the fortune teller had given him a remarkable gift. Bunker Bean found out what can happen when you believe in yourself. Bunker Bean was buried in a local cemetery, and on the archway of this magnificent grave, on a marble it said, to believe is all that matters. There are 2 men in Agile who belief is at the core of everything we'll accomplish at this company. One of them was our CEO and Director of Operations. I know him well. His name is Jeremiah Bradley. And though he's only 32 years old, he has 20 years of being tutored in his business. I know of nobody of his age with so much experience. He's been at my side for years. He's traveled with me to events, meetings, conventions, quietly listening and learning and studying. He understands every aspect of his business. As Director of Operations, he inspects every number that is significant to the business. Because we have a global presence, he requires him to watch and study and understand the products, the profitability, the projections, everything we need to know, he understands that. And probably one of the greatest tributes to Jeremiah, if anybody ever has a question, whether from the field and corporate, no one knows, they always make their way to Jeremiah's office, and he always knows. I found myself sometimes finding down at Jeremiah's office. We also have another co-CEO. He's often referred to as the coach. Good reason for that. Now, many of you think it's because of the success he has as a real coach with a league team. Jeff is much more than that. Anyone who ever meets Jeff will tell you that they feel better for having been with Jeff. He is a powerful presence in the field. He's responsible for all the sales of Agile and all the team members worldwide. When you meet Jeff, you feel his sincerity, his caring, his unstoppable belief in Agile, and his belief and passion for each of you. All our contests, meetings, this Agile world, all those things are under Jeff. And if you know him, you will come to love him as I have. And I know that Jeff's going to make a presentation today about our future and what we're doing. And when he presented me a few weeks ago, I just knew in my heart, yes, this will make such a difference for Agile, make such a difference in each of your lives. Let him talk. I don't want to steal his thing. But one of the most fascinating things about Jeremiah and Zach is how closely these two work together. You know, there's no ego involved. There's no pride. It's every day. How do we help each other? How do we make Agile a better company? How do we make things better for the field? And the whole thing now is carried down to the whole management team. Now, we're going to be introducing 2 new products today. Yeah, and I've been on the products since day one. There has not been a day that I've not taken our Agile products. And the 2 of them we're introducing today, one of them I've been on for 10 months, the other one now for about 5 weeks. They are incredible. I am a product of our incredible products. As I mentioned, I take them every day. I feel younger. The products have made a difference in my life. They've made a difference in my family's life. My wife, for the last couple of years of her life, took 5 of our products every day, and I know it made a difference in her life. And they can make a difference in your life. See, the Agile business is like a brick house. The brick part is the business opportunity. The mortar that holds the bricks in place is our products. And we need both of those to make the house stand. I believe in my heart of hearts there's not a person on this planet that won't benefit from at least one of our products. And most people can benefit from several of our products. We just have to do a better job of explaining our gel suspension technology. We really do. And my question is who's going to be the first diamond because of our new ageless? I mean, someone here is going to be a diamond. Their whole life will change, and I know it's going to be. Before I finish this weekend, and when you turn to your home, I hope you'll do so with a strong resolve to turn these good feelings you'll have this weekend into actions. It's easy to get excited, enthused, but I would encourage each one of you here today, because this is the future of Agile. You have gathered here today as pioneers, and you are the future of Agile. And I would challenge each one of you to earn the President's Club. I can think of nothing that will affect the growth of your business or your country or your organization than you trying to earn the President's Club. Now, I know it's not easy. I know it's going to be hard. I have learned anything in this life that's worthwhile will always be hard, and that's okay. Building your Agile business is no different. It'll be hard. It'll take time. It'll take a commitment. But I know you can do it. I believe in you. For some of you, I believe in you more than you believe in yourself. Now, enrolling is the lifeblood of Agile. It is the lifeblood of your business. And it's the best antidote when you're discouraged. It will restore your belief in yourself. It will let you feel the joy that comes from helping others. And it can change so many lives. See, I don't think Agile is a company. I think Agile is a cause. We are making a difference. And before I close, I want you to remember that tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, we have the Agile Cares Walk. Now, if you have not registered, you can register outside, or you can register tomorrow. It's $35. We actually have a run tomorrow. It starts at 6 o'clock, and the walk begins at 7 o'clock. I invite every one of you to be there. The registration is $35. And what we're trying to do this weekend is pay for a generator that Agile Cares has already paid for and is on its way to Costa Rica to a hospital there. And yeah, we are. And would like each of you to vote. And I'll talk about Agile Cares tomorrow for a little bit. And for those who are interested on how to host an Agile event, a fundraiser, how to find something in your country that could be part of the Agile Cares Foundation, we'll be having a workshop today during noon. It's a working kind of lunch workshop, and it's 12 o'clock, and it's in room 150. You're such a great group. You know, you are my family. I'm so grateful for my association with every one of you here today. You have made a difference in my lifetime. And this last year, this has not been an easy business. There have been things in my life this last year that have not been easy for me either. But I'd like to share with you some parting words of a song. These beautiful lyrics have meant an awful lot to me this last year during times of sorrow, times of discouragement. And they go, I hope you never lose your sense of wonder. Get your fill to eat, but always keep that hunger. May you never take one single breath for granted. May love never leave you empty-handed. I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Whenever one door closes, another one opens. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you choose to dance. Thank you. I love you. I am Craig Bradley, and I am Agile. God bless you. Thank you.